minimalism were the buzzwords used to describe Scream. To turn the futuristic fantasy into a reality, Jackson turned to the video director of the moment, Mark Romanek. He's the eye behind breakthrough clips for Madonna, Nine Inch Nails, Lenny Kravitz, En Vogue, and R.E.M.
Mark has got a great track record, and he's very creative, very innovative, so it only seemed right that, you know, he would be working on this with Michael and Janet.
Michael, take a step just in front of the ramp. Tilt down, Jack, with him.
I've always wanted to work with Mark. I think he's an absolute genius, and it was totally... I was so freaked out and excited I was going to be able to work with him on this video. The Rain video, Constant Craving, the En Vogue, Free Your Mind video, I mean, they were all so revolutionary. And still, when you look at them today, they look like, even 10 years from now, they would look revolutionary. I mean, they're just so beautifully done. The lighting is perfect. The cuts are all perfect. You could push the pause button on any of Mark's videos, and they're like these beautiful photographs.
This is the Zen Garden set, one of the many you will see in the video Scream, the first release from Michael Jackson's album History, Past, Present, and Future, Book 1. We'll get into the making of that album next, and of course show you Scream in its entirety when we return. History, Past, Present, and Future, Book 1. That mouthful is the title of Michael Jackson's long-awaited and long-delayed album of 15 greatest hits, which have been digitally remastered, and 15 new tracks. Now, this is a very important album for Michael Jackson. Not only is it his first release of new material since 1991's Dangerous, it's his first musical statement following the tumultuous events and the intense scrutiny of the past few years. Michael Jackson has led a public life. Recently, however, the private aspects of his life have overshadowed his musical output. From his highly publicized string of appearances in early 1993 to the specter of child molestation charges that were filed that fall and subsequently dropped, then settled out of court, which Jackson cleared.
I am totally innocent of any wrongdoing.
There was his admission of addiction to painkillers and a surprise marriage to Elvis Presley's daughter, Lisa Marie.
And just think, nobody thought this would last.
The combination of events left many wondering how his experience would manifest itself in his music.
If you're an artist and you put your feelings on your record and in your music, it gives it a whole different energy than it would have if you're just singing, you know, well, la da down, whatever. He sang what was on his mind, and it's a very aggressive, very personal album. And it's, you know, to me, it's his finest album just because of that fact.
Scream is a full-on battle cry with a pissed-off Michael going on the offensive, lambasting his critics.
They wanted the song to be very aggressive. It was interesting. Somebody asked me, you know, what's the song like? And I said, well, it ain't a ballad. You know, it's not a ballad. It's very tough and very aggressive. And lyrically, it's very aggressive, too. And it had to be up-tempo, obviously, so they can move and dance and do their thing to it. So just trying to match the song to kind of what they were feeling, you know, lyrically was what we tried to do.
It was very interesting to see him work at work because I hadn't seen him in a really long time. I think the last time I saw him at work was the Thriller album. Just being there in the studio with him and just watching, observing. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. We reminisced and laughed a lot and just had a really good time.
Janet also is showing a lot of support for her brother, you know, because this is a big album for him. It's coming back after a long period of time, a lot of turmoil in his life. And it's an important album for him, and I think that's the other thing, too, is that she's just happy to be there and support him.
Also joining Michael Jackson for this project are Slash, the Notorious B.I.G., Shaquille O'Neal, producer Dallas Austin, R. Kelly, and Boyz II Men.
It was exciting. I mean, you know, being in the studio with Michael Jackson. For one, Michael wasn't even supposed to be in the studio. He had a session at another studio, and he actually moved his session over to our studio just so he could be involved in the session.
You don't think you're going to ever get a chance to talk to him because, you know, you people think that he's so untouchable, and that's the way we felt until we actually talked to him and met him.
They don't necessarily consider him as being a very, like, intelligent entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying? They just see him as this guy that has pale skin and, you know, he's buying bones and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Things like, they go for the real, the sensational, you know, of the whole thing, so they don't really consider him as even being a real human.